He said, "Oh, you, see you. Yes, don't you try scaring me. You're smaller than my little finger." Yeah. Sunday shop, do 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 do. Sunday shop, do 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 do. Sunday shop, do 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 do. Arr. Hello, 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 and welcome. And yes, Shady is indeed back. Fat Shady, not Slim Shady. So yes, reason I wasn't around last week, Manflu. Yella, how you doing, Sammy boy? Yeah, so I had a nasty dose of Manflu. The actual cold itself wasn't that bad. It's just struggling with the after effects, shall we say. So yes, I figured nobody wanted. I mean, this is bad enough to look at anyway, but when it's dripping snot and yeah, it's not good. So I didn't even see Mary last Sunday because I didn't want to pass it on to her. Hello, Debs, and hello, Andrew. Hope all is well with everyone. And whatever random stuffs I've missed over the last week and a half, well, I've been kind of AFK. Got all the notifications coming through now. Yeah, so it was touch and go there for a while. Obviously, I didn't reach the miles cycled goal, which was 20. I got to 11, and then the gunk hit. Thankfully, I had a decent break from work at the end of last week, beginning of this week, so it wasn't too bad. This week and next week, I'm heavy at work. The week after, I'm off. I've got royalty coming to visit. Hello, Linkbot. So yes, I don't know whether you wanted to film a video or anything when you're up this way, Andrew, but you're more than welcome to if you want to. 245 squats, and now you're hiking. Surprised you still have service. Hiking, going for a walk on rough ground. Japanese rice fish can tolerate a wide range of temperatures and often kept in outdoor ponds in Japan. They do well outdoors here as well. Yeah, bring the whole crew, sound, camera, script, director, producer. I joke, but I'm sure some people do think that YouTube channels all have those. You know, I don't think it's just one person with a camera or maybe a couple of people with camera. They do seem to think that you do have an entire production crew. And I'm just going through all the notifications for literally the last 2 weeks. Oh boy. Oh, I think we're getting there. Tommy! Oh, look at that sexy picture. Look at that hunkin' beast of a man. Yeah, so I'll have a tidy up. Do you require tea bags? Will you be needing tea, or is coffee okay? Because Mary and I do coffee. I do coffee. I'm having a hot drink. Mary drinks coffee. Neither of us drink tea. But if you and Donna would like a cup of tea, I can arrange to get some tea bags in, even if I just pinch a few from work. And I shall get some snacks in as well. Of some description. Probably something from Lidl. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I've done the last couple of weeks. Water changes and being ill. So I have developed an interesting new one though. Due to coughing, I have managed to pull or pop something in the back of my shoulder down here, and it's in agony. So hopefully that heals up soon. Yeah, even though I don't know how I managed to. We've all had a cough and pulled muscles in our rib cage and things like that, but quite how I managed to do it up the back of my neck, I have no idea. But I have, so there we go. And obviously, me being me, taking a lot of paracetamol and ibuprofen, that has the other effect as well. So yeah, been an interesting couple of weeks, even though I've not done anything. I did do one thing, I suppose. I did move the Bolivian Rams into the Fluval Flex, and Mr. Pisto is now in the tank down there. And you can't see him because the light is too bright. B, there's a bunch of food in the way. C, the camera's not pointing that direction. And D, he's hiding. Oh, no, there he is. Get my finger in the right place. There's Mr. Pisto. He's doing his thing quite happily. So, I mean, the reason they didn't breed, I'm pretty sure is because he's got some kind of jaw deformity. So, whether Missy Pisto wouldn't want to risk passing that on to her offspring if it's a genetic issue, whether they can tell these things or what, but he's doing good. He's a happy boy. Bolivian Rams, yep, they're doing fine. I've started putting some butt water in their tank to soften it up a little bit. Now, I know you can't really tell by looking, but going by behaviours, I think I've got a dominant male, a subdominant male, and a female. I think dominant and the female might be pairing off because they're not chasing each other, but they both chase the other one. I'm beginning to think nobody was here. Yeah, it gets like that. I've had live streams like that as well where you're sat there talking to yourself for quite a long time and no one's posting in the chat and you're looking. It says there's 11 people watching, for at the moment, but you know, it says there's 11 people here or 20 people here and no one's putting anything in the chat. So yeah, there's that. I have also started planning for what I will for the first major bike ride of next year, which will be a camp out jobby. It will be a camp out jobby because even if I go too fast and get a lot further than I thought I was going to get, I'm not doing 100 mile in a day. Let's be honest. Yeah. As Brits might be out, if you know roughly where I am, from where I am to the Norfolk coast and back again. So that's going to be 2 days. Camping somewhere random out in the middle of nowhere under a tarpaulin. Howdy, Ricky. You'd be surprised how unflat Norfolk actually is. Everyone jokes about how flat it is, but I mean, okay, it doesn't have big hills or mountains. It's nothing like that, but it's not flat. And we've got in Gas Scrapes Hill in Norwich is a 22-degree incline. You don't want to try cycling up that sod. Coming down it would be great fun. Going up it, no. I had to actually go up that when I was doing the Marriott's Way last month. And yeah, I pushed the bike up that. It's a struggle to walk up it. So yeah, the general plan so far is to get up to Holme next to the sea, just north of Hunstanton. Stop there, have some chips, chill out for a bit, and then start the return journey on day one. And probably pick out a couple of likely camping spots on the way up, so that when I'm on the way back, I've got an idea of where I might like to actually camp, depending on times and when it gets dark at that time of year and what have you. Because obviously wild camping in the UK is not technically legal. It is technically trespassing if you get caught and the landowner doesn't want you there. But if it's on a public right of way, you can do it as long as you don't block the right of way. But I don't really want to camp on a footpath or cycle path. It's hence why all my stuff is like dark greens and browns and camo type colours. Ooh, Ricky's coming out with his own fish food brand in India. Well, if you want someone to do a bad YouTube video testing it, send us a sample. Visions of me sleeping with my bike. The bike will be under the tarp with me, and it will be locked, and there will probably be a piece of guy line or guy rope string between the bike and say my wrist, so that if someone does try and move it in the night, I will wake up. Although I'm pretty sure A, there won't be anyone around, and B, if there is anyone around, they're just not going to be that kind of person. Been using my formula for 12 years, but it's stressing me out now. I don't know why. That's because it's worked for you, and you know you're doing something new, which new stuff is always stressful. You know the food works. I never used it, but I know the food works. Yeah, I say it's something new, stressful. Costs a fair chunk of money to get it started up, and then obviously you want it to succeed. So yeah, and there'll always be them people who go, "Oh, my fish won't eat it. It's rubbish," because they've been feeding the same exact thing. They only feed that one food, so of course their fish aren't going to eat something different. Yeah, it's like small children. If all you give them is chicken nuggets and chips when they're kids because they don't want to eat anything else, when they grow up, they still only want to eat chicken nuggets and chips because everything else they think tastes bad because it tastes different. So, one reason I like to have a variety of foodies to feed. Timmy, how you going, Mr. Crypt Keeper Aquatics? That is one of the cooler fish fan channel names. How many times do you get people tuning? Say, it shows how old I am. Tune in to your channel, and then expect paranormal or something like that. First going with goldfish, tetra, and chiclet. Next after arrow and discus. Yeah, they're good, sensible things to start with. I mean, goldfish food is different to tropical food. Not entirely sure what the differences are, but I know it is different. And then say tetra and chiclets, just the size difference of the foods. Arowana, pass. Discus. Well, I mean, if you're going to feed discus, it's got to be something that tastes good to humans. Because discus go in sandwiches. Not had anyone expecting that. Not that I said anyway. Yeah, probably someone. Yeah. I've had some interesting comments from people over the years about why my channel's called what it is and why haven't I got this and why don't I do that, and do I want any Blackmore babies? I've not got any cold water tanks, Andrew. All mine are heated. I've not got a space for any Blackmores. Unfortunately, I don't think they'd do well in the pond either. So, never see them anyway, would you? Yeah. Tastes good with liquor. I mean, what was this? Jeff Rose used to taste and test all the fish foods and say what was the good ones and the bad ones. I miss Jeff Rose. He was fun. Right up until he got swatted. Still can't believe that happened. I'm sure he can't believe it happened either. I know he's got other stuff going on, but you know, if there was going to be a reason to stop wanting to do YouTube, it's having a SWAT team invade your house. Yeah. I think he was about the only fish fan who had more Bristol, had more plecos than I normally do. Bless him. Yeah, I'll say, but yeah. Thank you for the offer anyway, Andrew, but I'm kind of at capacity with no intentions of adding more tanks. Jeff Rose, he did. Coming out now because the market is flooded with fake tetra. People are not buying them, so the market is finding out something new. Yeah, so the main one that everyone buys is being copied, so people stop buying it because they keep getting the fake. So yeah, if you bring out something new, it's a good time to do it. I think over here it'd probably be Aquarian or Tetra would be the two big brands that you find in all pet shops. Probably then followed by Fluval and King British. That's probably about it. They're the main ones that you'll find. Yeah, Jeff Rose was doing a live stream and yeah, he got swatted. Tetra dominates the market globally. Yep, that's pretty much it. It's been around for centuries, I think, now, hasn't it, Tetrafood? His channel was Jeff Rose Fish Keeping. I'm sure someone will have a link somewhere, or I'll type it out. Jeffroz, Jeff Rose. Now, he's not been around for a few years, so I wouldn't. Actually, quite a few of you guys here, I wouldn't be surprised if you'd not heard of him, because he's not been about for a couple of years, 3, 4, something like that. But yeah. I mean, thankfully, I think the police or whoever's responsible for these kind of things, they did pay to repair and replace his front door and windows and things that they smashed. Don't think they did anything about any of the fish and the tanks, but yeah. And no, they wouldn't have been out. They wouldn't have caught the little sod that did it either. Let me get me click in the right box. Sharp. There we go. I'm not even sure if he's still got his channel up. Yeah, I find the pellets as they're falling here. Time to climb the ladder. Exactly. Perfect time to do it. Just make sure you put on like the label developed by zoologist, and then any kind of qualifications or numbers and letters and that have you behind your name. Put them all on there. Just to make things look better. And evening, Jeff. Exactly. You can stick that on there. You know, worldwide known marine biologist. The dead hath risen. Yes, the dead has risen here as well. And I'm looking a lot less like death than I have done the past few weeks. Hello, Paddy. I'm all right now. I'm on the mend. Had Manflu. Nearly died. Yes, I remembered it was you, Patty. And I haven't got a meme to put up that says Patty's here, so you're safe. Unless, of course, I just write a little sign out and go, moss rackies are working out well. I should have got them more. Yeah, we were just talking about how Jeff Rose got big tank. How you doing, Garrick? I hope all is well with you. Peace and love, sir. Peace and love. Well, in that case, go with zoologist. You're good with fleas and herpes, so yes, I know herpetologists get upset when you call them herpes, but has to be done. And if they're a bit dumb about it, you call them derpies as well. That really upsets people. Someone who studies dumb people is a derpetologist. That's what I'm saying anyway. They probably study me. I have my moments. Yeah, so yeah. So I'm no marketer, but yeah, just all the buzzwords. Yes, you want all the this awesome person, letter, doctorate, blah 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 blah, developed this fish food and has been using it for the last 12 years to feed his zoological collection. Uh, you know, don't care. Uh, somebody studies donkeys. What would that be? Hmm. That'd be an astrologist. An astrologist. That'd be a donkey. Snakes. And it's like you're a marine person. Go to the seas. What are you going up in mountains for? Yeah. I mean, I get the same thing when like people hear, "Oh yeah, I'm going on a 50-mile bike ride," and they're like, "Why?" Because I want to. Donkey would still be under equine. Yes. I mean, they shouldn't be because donkeys are nice, horses are evil. But if you want some real fun, Tommy, have a look at Flemish giant rabbits. Oh, you want, trust me, you want just epic bunnering. And I also watched a video this week, Girl with the Dogs, and she was grooming Anne. I nearly said doing Anne, which would have been really bad. Yeah, just about quirky. I'm just about alive. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's why they were originally bred to be that size, was the amount of meat and coat. But yeah, they're just awesome. I want one. I just don't have the space. But it saved me ever having to mow the lawn. I just put the rabbit out in the back garden. Um, Great watching people on YouTube cycling. Let them do the hard work. Yeah, I mean it's kind of bags I like. If I do a 50-mile ride, let's say, to me and for me, that's quite a big achievement, a big accomplishment. And then I'll just stick YouTube on, and because I watch cycling videos as well, every something comes up 240 miles in a day, and I'm like, oh, which really makes you not want to put up a 50-mile ride video. Um, yeah, I mean I mean I average about 12 mile an hour, so it doesn't take a huge amount of time riding wise, but I stop for breaks. I'm not in it to go as fast as possible and get the best time. I'm in it to enjoy the ride, enjoy the countryside, any interesting things I might see. Now, if I happen to go trundling along and there's a pretty river or stream or ye olde abandoned building, then I'll stop off and have a look. Yeah, almost bigger than a Sharpe. Yeah, they are. They're big buns. I like big buns and I cannot lie. Um, Hello, Adele. Speaking of big buns. Sorry, Adele. I couldn't resist that one. Excuses, somebody nicked my bike. I haven't bought it yet. Yeah, he had the bike you wanted all. You went to the shop, you saw the bike you wanted, you're like, that's going to be my bike. And when you went back, it weren't there no more. So, obviously. Earlier postponed with 96 and 159 female deer. Meant to be sent to the Sundarbans every month for the tigers to eat. If I send 50, I'll have 52 and have barbecue quota. Definitely. Definitely. Fabulous buns, my dear. Fabulous. Not that I've ever seen Adele's buns, but I'm going with fabulous. Because I like where all my bits are attached to. Yeah, I mean, although I've got to say, I am one of those people who I will happily eat rabbit. I differentiate between a rabbit and a bunny. A rabbit is a wild animal that generally gets eaten for food, and a bunny is a pet. And they are two different things, in my book anyway. That's how I see it. And it's the way, people from countries where they do eat animals that are we would class as pets. And they do have dogs as pets, but they also eat them. And they see them as different things. Well, yeah, it is somewhat illegal to eat humans. It also causes brain problems. I forget what the disease is, but if you eat human flesh, you can catch some. It's kind of similar to Creutzfeldt-Jacobs, I think. Mad cow disease, which is what happened when you fed cows to cows. Whoever thought that was a good idea? Yeah, domesticated and non-domesticated. Yeah, one likes fusses, the other one runs away. Yeah, myxomatosis. We do get mixy in the UK. Obviously, it's where it's re-released every couple of years in a new flavour, so that the rabbits don't develop immunity to it. And yes, I've got to admit, I have put quite a few rabbits out of their misery that have got myxomatosis. It is a horrific disease. I'm all for wishing things on your worst enemy, but mixy, no. Whoever designed that disease, they need shooting. Yeah, it's in the wild population in the UK, and yeah, when it's a wild animal and you can walk straight up to it and it doesn't move, yeah. So a video, a young lad who ate a slug 7 years later, he was dead. Yeah, slugs do tend to have lots of nasty worms in them, I believe. Parasites and stuff that will then survive in the human body. Unless, of course, he ate the slug 7 years later, we got run over by a car. And, the COVID vaccine will kills you. No. Man had vaccine, died next day. Yeah, he got run over by a bus. That's nothing to do with having a COVID vaccine. When the zombie apocalypse hits, you'll get a chance to eat human flesh. It's going to be gross, I'm afraid. Yeah, I think Jeff's assuming that you might become a zombie. I have no idea why. I mean, your alcohol blood level, I think you're probably safe from any disease like that. Hey, Scotty Aquati, how are you? And it is fall in the UK, or autumn, so it is almost dark outside already. Just gone 6:30. And in a few weeks, the clocks will go back, and it'll be probably dark by about 5 o'clock. So every day I leave work, I will have the lights on my bike and my helmet, my special flashing helmet. Don't ask. Ow. Yeah. Zombie apocalypses. Yeah. I say it's actually, when you think about it, myxomatosis as a disease isn't too far from turning a rabbit into a zombie. It, if you want to see what the effects are, look it up, but don't. It is one of those truly horrific things, and it is man-made. But to be honest, we kind of sort of have to do it in the UK because we wiped out all the predators pretty much. Oh, I heard that one many a time. Yeah, you're sanitizing your hands. I'm sanitizing my insides. Yeah, the disco snail parasite. Yeah, nasty one. Well, the other one is that one that replaces a fish's tongue. Have you seen that one? That's proper nasty. Basically, it eats the fish's tongue and replaces it. But once it has, you can't remove it from the fish because the fish without a tongue will die. So they live quite happily together, as it were. I'm guessing there's some pain involved, but zombies are large groups of people in shock wandering about after a bad event. Yeah. When people like Donald Trump get voted into office. Oh, guaranteed, yeah. Guarantee there are people trying to figure out how to create zombies. Not to create like mass panic and oh my god, zombie apocalypse. Just to have people, workers that just work, they don't care. A drudge, a drone, that kind of thing. Train station, it's an isopod. Yes. Train station, bus station, just any street on us in a city or a decent sized town, and there's just people walking along like this. How more people don't just walk out in the streets or walk into lampposts, I have no idea. I can see a snail dance at a Saturday night fever stand. He's got the one I stalked down. Just doing that with their eye stalks. That would be epic. Disco snails. What's it? The other one is it a wasp that lays its eggs inside a tarantula, and then the larva takes over control of the tarantula while it eats it alive, and hatches out of the dead tarantula as a fully grown wasp. Nature sucks. Yeah, the tarantula hawk. Yeah, that's the one. How do you evolve that? How the hell does that evolve? Very gradually over billions of years. But yes, nature's a very doesn't evolve. Yes, Tommy created it. That's what it is. Because Tommy is tech god. Most mutations are done from inbreeding. Forgot to mute the stream when I was eating. Yeah, I suppose I really should put some kind of at the start of the stream. If you are eating, please mute. Things might get a bit grim. Ah, Mr. Moist Hose, how are you doing, Al? Speaking of which, I did actually order a couple of pair of men's full hose this week. So we have knee-length socks. I will be Pippi Longstockings. Yes, they're called a full hose in men's socks. They come just below the knee, mainly to keep the old calf muscles compressed and warm when I'm cycling longer distances. Because as I've found, not so much when it's boiling hot, but when it's a bit chillier, if you get off the bike, stop for 15, 20 minutes, half hour, have something to eat, drink, chill, a couple of ciggies, yeah, the calf muscles seize up real fast. So hopefully wear those and that will avoid that. Also keep the nettle stings and bramble scratches to a minimum as well. Because Dad knew what he was doing. Well, in that, one thing at least. Yeah, so just a warning, it won't be a miles for likes this week because chances of me actually going on a decent length bike ride this week are basically zero. Adele doesn't commentate your entire life, Greg. Yeah. It's a wonderful voice to commentate your life in. I mean, it could be far worse. You could be hearing things in my voice. Save that for when you're somewhere like bad and dangerous, like inside a nuclear reactor. I reckon it'd be quite amusing. Yeah, I could imagine you being like the commentator for Australia's version of Big Brother. And I suspect that might be more entertaining than the British version. I think they've stopped doing that now, haven't they, though? The viewing numbers weren't there for it. So the first series was interesting as a oh dear. It was an interesting social experiment. Then it basically became a game show and it just sucked butt. Stupid diet. Now I finished my dinner in 5 minutes. It sucked. Yeah, I'm trying to lose some weight as well. I've been piling on pounds lately, or kilos. Yeah, it's not good. So I'm going to have to lose some weight. Uh, Starting to go out sideways now as well, rather than front to back. So yeah, we need to lose the love handles. Thankfully, I'm not a small guy generally, so it's not too bad. But and I'm fairly tall and fairly broad. You want to hear Adele speak in Craig's voice? Yeah, the difference is, Adele, you're lovely. I'm not. Doc asked me to lose 20 kilo. Yeah, I could stand to lose probably about that. 8 max. Yeah, I would say 8 is better than none. I think for Adele to speak in Craig's voice, she'd probably need to smoke about 40 woodbines a day for about 20 years to be able to get that sort of voice going. I'm not even going to attempt it because I really suck at accents. If you hadn't realised, I struggle with my own one. Um, and B, it would be even worse than me singing. And there's always the chance that Craig might actually turn up. And if he's going to do it, it'll be when I'm doing that. And also with the state of my throat at the moment, definitely not. Oh yeah, vegan, ethically sourced human tacos. Yeah, I'm not going to. Yeah, that was one. Prion disease. Is self cannibalism a risk? I think you're probably more likely to die from blood loss before you die from prion disease eating yourself. It's vegan if the donor consents. It probably means that most vegan food isn't therefore vegan, because all the animals that die to get it made don't consent. Um, exactly. You quit 5 years ago, so your voice is starting to calm back down and get those lovely soft overtones back. No suffering of the donor. So, was it a German guy who actually advertised for someone to let him eat their gentleman's sausage? And they actually went through with it. Oh yes, vegan milk is indeed nut juice, and I can tell you that my nut juice is not vegan. As the old T-shirt read, millions of my potential children died on your daughter's face last night. Um, it would be an interesting combo with Doctor. Yeah, someone did it with their own amputated foot. Yes, there are some really weird people, and that's coming from me, and I'm weird. I've yet to see a vegan milk and effing almond. I mean, almonds don't have nipples as far as I'm aware, so therefore they don't produce milk. Although, what about platypus milk? Because that's hashtag pink milk sweat. If you had the opportunity, it's the one opportunity knowingly you have in your life, would you make an effort to try it? I'm not going to say that, but let's be honest. If I'm on an island or stranded somewhere, starving to death, and there's one other person with me, they're going to start to look mighty tasty. Having a conversation with my in-chief wildlife warden officer. Dark person just came in, overheard, and left without saying anything. Yeah, I do that fairly regularly. We do that fairly regularly. We'll be chatting about something at work, serial killers or weird sexual perversions or bodily functions, and won't see a customer walk in. And it's usually as someone says completely the wrong thing. Yeah, I think we all wish Shannon well. I'm not sure what she's got going on at the moment. I understand there's a fair chunk of not pleasant stuff going on. But if anyone is in contact with her, send her my love and huggles. So the football team got stranded in the Andes. Yeah, ethical cannibalism. It's survival of the fittest, or in that case, death of the fattest. Um, it's you eat the biggest person first because they're going to last longest and feed the most people. But yeah, that's one of those ones where if they had come back and been charged and jailed for cannibalism, that would have been a travesty. Yeah, or eating people who died in the crash before they rotted. Exactly. Just if lamb meat is tender and tasty compared to mutton, then would it be the same with children? I would think so. Soylent Green is made for people, which always made me laugh about the Rapashi food, Soylent Green. I'm like, I don't want to know. I mean, I think I bought. What was the one I had? Was it? One bottom scratcher. It was the other one for Plecos. Although weirdly, that's one of the less grim dark things about the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Is a lot of people that live in hive cities. Their main diet is corpse starch. Yeah, as people die, they get rendered down into food and fed back to the population. And that's one of the less dark things about the universe. That universe anyway. It's, you know, what used to be kind of amusing and funny back in the 90s, with lots of in jokes and funny stuff, it got, it's getting real dark nowadays, which I kind of like. Corpse starch. Kind of the logical extension of what they did in Red Dwarf, where they had the urine recycle wine. Crichton was recycling their urine to make wine. And I'm like, don't know what it is, but I'm sure it's not supposed to make my teeth itch. Yeah. Yeah. What the? Yeah. Yeah. So Warhammer 40,000, you've got the tabletop games with the figures and all the pew 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 and the dice rolling and the painty painty. We can actually go into all the lore because it's just so much lore and stories and all sorts of stuff that go on about. And Yeah. Yeah, the humans aren't the good guys in Warhammer 40k. Yeah, we naturally recycle too. Every time you fill up your car with gas, it's run off your great grandpappy. Yep. Technically, oil can be made faster, but this isn't the Science Channel, so I'll stay out of that. Graveyard would be a very fertile land for cultivation. It would be. Um, even more so if people didn't keep getting buried inside thick wooden or metal boxes. I mean, last summer around here, most of the cemeteries were brown and crunchy underfoot, but that was more to do with the drought. Grandpappy got dug up and burned into steam engines. Yeah. Any organic matter, any living thing, algae and dinosaur gloom. Yes. Yes. A meteor hit the planet, wiped out 90%, 95, 99% of all life, and we got oil and coal out of the bargain. I call that a win. Well, actually, I'm not sure. Would I rather have dinosaurs around still? Would it be kind of cool to look out the window and see a brontosaurus go past? I think so. Or Diplodocus. Or Diplodocus, as they now say it's called. Probably taught that so we can think about what we made from our dead ancestors. Yeah, it's compacted organic matter. Gloop. Oh. And Quirky's offering up a lap cushion. So worn out and tired, don't even want to sit down. Well, there's an answer to that, Sammy boy. Lay down, nap. Lay down, doggo snuggles, nap. That sounds a good plan to me. Not true, we still had dinosaurs co-mingling with humans. Well, yeah, technically we do. I mean, crocodiles and stuff were around at that time. Those dinosaurs wouldn't have been drawn and portrayed with humans in cave paintings. As the classic question that the young kiddie asked the mum after they just learned about dinosaurs at school. Mummy, what was it like when you were young and the dinosaurs were still around? Flintstones, my favourite documentary. Oh, exactly. Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. They're the modern Stone Age family. From the town of Bedrock, they're a page right out of history. I'm not going to do the rest. I do know it though. Crocs are older than dinos, and that stupid screaming bird in the cage is related to them. I mean, chickens, yeah, they are just feathered dinosaurs. I'm now thinking T-Rex, not screaming like Parrot. I'm thinking, pieces of eight, pieces of eight. Who's a pretty boy then? Who's a pretty boy then? Or as some birds started doing, is copying the mobile phone ringtones. Just so that you're older than Google and watch them freak out. Yeah, I mean, that is probably the most depressing thing. We all had chances to buy shares in Google and Amazon when they were pennies. I mean, can you imagine if back in the day you'd have put $1,000 into Google shares back in the early 90s or late 80s or whenever? How much you'd be worth now? depressing thought, isn't it? No, why? Like I'd have bought stock in IBM. Oh, roasted T-Rex. I mean, yeah, exactly. There you go. That's what you'd farm. You farm dinosaurs. Imagine the amount of meat you'd get off of them. There's enough meat in one T-Rex to probably, I don't know, run a Texas diner for a day. Pretty sure I'm older than Google. I'm still a wee baby. You know, there are those of us here who are old enough to remember when the first home computers came out. Back in 81, 82, I think, in the UK. Maybe a little later, 83, 84, something like that. Doing something in Siberia to bring back the megafauna. Well, it's because as the world's warming, because global warming isn't a thing, yeah, the permafrost is melting, which is kind of a giveaway. Things might be getting a bit warmer, and yeah, they're finding all sorts of interesting stuff now. They can actually dig. I still remember a world with a Royal Navy. It was actually worth something. I remember when HMS Belfast was docked for the last time. There are flowers blooming in Antarctica. Yeah, I mean, when stuff like that starts happening, yep, the moon gets an inch further away, and the UK gets an inch closer to America every year. Is it every year? Is it an inch? Something like that. We're actually sort of floating away from the rest of Europe. So with a bit of luck, in a few years, the Channel Tunnel will collapse. Dad used to have a bunch of weird old computer relics in the attic, like a modern briefcase, where you'd set the phone handset on the briefcase cradle. It squawked like a fax machine. Yep, that's your original dial-up internet. Portable internet. You measure the distance traveled away, and the time we measured it by how far it's gone, you'd get the true age of the Earth. That you would. Old. Yep, back how the internet used to work when you travel and use dial-up. I remember when I first had internet, it was on dial-up. Oh yeah, it's at least in the billions, if not the trillions of years. Um, Get the true age of when the moon got smacked off the Earth by impact. Yeah. Dinosaurs would have died from being mooned to death. Oh, what a way to go though! Getting mooned to death. Yeah, I'm just picturing the moon rolling around the Earth, just like a massive Temple of Doom wall, and all the dinosaurs doing Indiana Jones trying to get out of the way of it. Also assuming none of the impacts of the moon, look at the craters changes orbit. And a Bubba planet, yes, in the Goldilocks zone. And if you want a really cool song to stick on in the background, Tommy, it's 20 odd minutes long, but The Greatest Show on Earth by Nightwish. The reason it's a long song is it covers from the Big Bang to now and Earth. Very cool tune. Also measure the salinity of the oceans. They get more saline as time goes by. You could measure back to when they were freshwater. And they're actually getting more fresher now as the polar ice caps and the glaciers, oh god, how American, glaciers are melting. Then they're actually getting less salty now. Just stuff that you don't learn in brainwashing class. I mean, school. Well, I say it's. Now, I'm not defending or taking a stance. God, I'm turning American, I swear it. Stance. But I think a lot of what we get taught in school is it's an easy way to teach it, easy to understand, and it's to current knowledge. So, like, I left school 30 odd years ago. What we know now is completely different to what we knew back then. Yes, The Greatest Show on Earth, with foreword and postwords by Richard Dawkins. Flat Earthers are dumb butts. And hollow earthers. I'm more inclined to believe hollow earthers than I am flat earthers. Let's put it that way. I mean, I know the Earth's not hollow, but if you think part of what they're saying is that if they're like journey to the center of the Earth, where you find like the races of creatures and Neanderthalic type beings that are living underground. Well, we've got a lot of deep cave systems that nobody's ever explored, so you can't necessarily count it out. We've all drunk the Kool-Aid, don't you know that Jesus Christ buried dinosaur bones just to find proof how gullible we are? Oh, definitely. Jeezy Queasy. I choose to believe that Jesus was a rabbit and was actually called Bunzus. And he binkied for our sins. There we go. Jesus rode a T-Rex. Maybe not a T-Rex. Not a Steggy. Maybe one of the vegetablist ones. At least Hollow Earth is based off of an actual map. Yeah, so there are so many unexplored cave systems and what have you under the Earth's surface that we've scientifically proven that the Earth is not flat. The Greeks did that thousands of years ago with a couple of sticks. Yeah, exactly. You've got everyone's wrong. They're not dinosaur fossils. They're dead dragons. Ah, yes, dragon fossils. Terrible lizards. There could have been some. As long as there weren't illithids, we're okay. And beholders. Although personally, I choose to believe that Cthulhu does lie in Dead Oh Yeah rating. Yeah, I've seen the people who claim that the Earth is 2,000 years old, and I'm like, have you not even read the Old Testament? Did you just start with the New Testament? Yeah, in Hebrew it's Yeshua, yes, because it comes from all the Abrahamic religions come from Judaism. Rode a pterodactyl. Every single culture has dragons in it. Dinosaur fossils being the source would make sense. I mean, if you dug up a skull of a T-Rex or something like that, not a fossil skull, but yeah, back in the day, one weathered out of a mountainside, and there's some massive landslide, and all of a sudden there's this massive skull there. Yeah, you're going to come up with dragons. Ancient aliens. It was aliens. God damn it, go away. East is in 2D and the West is 3D. Yeah. I'll say the dragon myths, they're worldwide. Same as the vampire myths, the werewolf myths. Whether they are myths or not, I'm not going to. Pardon me. Ghost spirits, paranormal weirdness. It's worldwide. It's been around for thousands of years. I can convince you all that the world is only about 6,000 years old. Nah. I'm British. We've been about longer than that. We've dug up human settlements that are older than that. Favourite dragon historically? Morgoth. Because when Morgoth was killed in the battle in the skies, he fell to the ground and instantly invalidated all topographical maps of Middle Earth. If you're not a real Tolkien nerd, you won't get that reference. Morgoth was the first of the dragons and flattened the mountain range when he fell out of the sky. Everything's expanding. So yeah, I'm not getting fatter. It's a universe thing. The universe is getting bigger, and so am I. We're all stretching out. That's what it is. My anus has always been considered impossible. Must be something to do with the Coriolis effect. Planet Alpha, where humans started out in the Andromeda Galaxy. Before they let the computers take over, and then the computers decided the humans weren't needed anymore. So a small band of humans escaped in a plane or ship called Starblade. And the only person they ever told about it was Ian Lucason. And he's wrote several albums about it. If a planet outside of our system were to come into our system in a rhythmic, measurable pattern, I would mean we're stationary. We aren't. Our solar system is doing the whole loopy, all the planets around the sun, and the whole galaxy and its spiral arms is all doing loopy-loopies around the big black hole in the middle. And that's moving as well. And we all know the Earth isn't the center of the universe. That's Tommy's brain. That's the center of the universe. We get some weird conversations going on here, don't we? No, that's called being the main character, Sammy. That's main character syndrome. It's one step below being a Karen. I mean, hell, I'm an NPC in my universe. Dreamt I was driving a flying car and I was going to go to another planet to buy a new animal. I've had weirder dreams. Universe broken down is one word. Yes. One verse. The verse. Multiverse. Verse, chorus, verse. Hey, BA, that wasn't food, that was a baby Shelly. So I guess means we've got to feed the baby Shellies. Megaverse. Yeah, it's where all the megafauna comes from, is the megaverse. I think it didn't get eaten. It was quick enough to get out of the way, but I think the Shelly was trying to. Ooh, let's give them some grub, shall we? Some liquefy free baby plus fry growth food. My favourite food for fry. Basically powdered flake. And it's the same colour as. Basically looks like someone's dried out and ground up baby poop. Same colour. Bert already wants some soup. Well, yeah, that's Bert. Bert always wants food. Ernie's doing snoozies down here on his rock. And the Limia want food as well because they've seen me move. And you've already been fed. You're not getting more food. We've got too many of it anyway. Oh, and the ones that got given birth to inside the breeder box, they're all doing okay. Somehow another one's managed to jump in there. It's got the lid on it now as well, so I don't know. Shall we give them a bit more food? And then as the fry food starts sinking, we can see the. Oh, what should we give them? Something with almost zero calorific content. And there's some there for the big boys, so they get at least a little bite. So that's some small pellets and freeze-dried Daphnia. Nanakara anomala. Yes, and we do have Nanakara eggs again. The last couple of lots, I think they calcified. They all kind of went white and then disappeared. So I've been re-softening the water again. So yes. Let's see if we actually catch some of the baby Shellies going up for food. So down there. There we go. Shelly fry. Oh, there's more over the back as well. They're slightly larger. Tangled up again. Oh dear. Ugh. There we go. And that one's Ernie. And that one's Bert. No, oh god, there's another escaped pleco. And the one that's meant to be in there. That's Spotty. Gorgeous boy. And a bunch of corridors. Wrong way. My arm don't bend that direction. And then we got all the Limia up the top, just doing Limia things. Well, I say up the top, they're all over the bloody place. I did actually spot in there earlier. There is a baby Palliatus corey trundling about in there somewhere. Make the water hardy shirt, pictures of waterfalls and streams, make it soft shirt, lakes and seas. Got all the tanks moving in the house that are going in the house. Didn't lose any fish till the last tank. Had to put Denison barbs, angelfish, pleco and ghost knife in the bucket. In the bucket for 2 hours and lost 2 of the 3 Denison barbs. So only not in there long, so I have no idea why. Unless they're being in closer proximity cause a bit of a scrap to go on. Yeah, it's lots of little corridors in there. Every so often one of the eggs does manage to not get eaten. And we get another baby one show up eventually. But the one I saw this afternoon could have been any more than about 1/4 inch. Yeah, I've not had Denison or 2 torpedo barbs before. Don't have a big enough tank. How long it took me to suck the rest of the water out of the tank, pull the plants out, move the tank, refill, put the plants back in. Yeah, so not long. Yeah, I guess they're just particularly spooky and may have done the crashy into the side of the bucket, like some fish will do. Might have just brained themselves like Donkey, my third Akara did. It was Bert and Ernie are chill, don't really bother too much unless I really make them jump. Like really dark still, lights not on, it's not daylight yet, and I'm looking in the tank with a torch and suddenly shine a flashlight on them and the Donkey would jump at anything, so kept knocking himself out, and I think eventually gave himself brain damage and then eventually brained himself to death. Looked fine. Came chicken food, nature is cruel, but it didn't go to waste. No, exactly not. Denison's on the red list now, so no more wild collection and definitely no exporting. Yeah, so anyone who's got Denison barbs, try and breed them because the price is only going to go up. I think we might see that happening quite a lot of the species that we keep. As the numbers in the wild go down, then there might be bans on collection and export. So we might find certain species in the hobby getting harder to find or going up in price. So that's where people like us that breed them at home can come in useful. Hence why I get 5 times as much for a Limia as I do for a Guppy or a Platy, or a Swordtail, or a Molly, or pretty much any of the other common live bearers. And this is already $20 each around it. Oof. Normally about 5 are around here. I mean, you get them, they're like that big. So people get them because they look pretty and they look a bit like a shark, and then they'll put them in something like a Fluval Flex, and then wonder why they die very quickly. Congo banned the export of the grey parrots. Good, good, good. Used to wholesale them for 30,000. Now it's 120. Oof. Again, I mean, in the UK there are plenty of people who breed parrots. Hell, my parents used to. Morning time, woolly wagtails go mental outside the window. Yeah, wagtails do that. Whichever flavour of wagtail it is, they go nuts when the sun comes up because that's when their food wakes up and starts leaving its little hidey holes. So they go nom 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 nom. Yeah, it's a. When wagtails find an ant's nest, it is excellent to watch because you get an entire flock of them, and they don't fight each other. So they know there's enough food to go around. So there'll be dozens of them all around the ant's nest, just tails going everywhere. Good fun to watch. So yes, if you get wind that a certain fish is going to be removed from the export lists and whatever, then it's a good time to get someone try breeding them. Because I mean, all the black or all the red-tailed sharks now are captive bred and have been for years. Well, I think they've been rediscovered in the wild again now. It's one of those things where they're extinct. We found them again. No, they're not extinct. First commercial reptile export permit, DBT, passed one after 51 years. Obviously, now the forests are going to be empty. Starting to look at what one to put in 130. Ooh. What are your water parameters, me dearie? What's your just general hardness? pH. I'm sure we can come up with some interesting ideas because obviously you need bristle noses, at least one. Nest in the tree outside your house. So 130, and I'm going with you're going to be more sensible than I would be, stocking level wise. So I'd probably go with a bristle nose if you don't want to breed them. Then some flavour of Corridori for the bottom. Some kind of dwarf cichlid that you can have either a pair or a hardom of, a little group. Especially if you're going to go with something like rams, you can go with a group of. And then something not necessarily live bearery. I'm thinking probably something more of a sort of deeper bodied small tetra as a kind of skitty abouty, pretty little fishy. I think that'd be a fairly cool tank. And also leave room to add something if you go, ooh, shiny, like peacock gudgeon or something like that. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a tank empty for more than a day. No. Buy tank, fill tank, escape tank, add livestock. Um, yeah, I generally leave them 24 hours just to let the water come up to even temperature and to clear out a bit from the gunk that floats out of the substrate. Yeah, 24 hours and I start adding fishies. Come on. You know me by now, you know I don't worry about cycles. They just sort of happen. And they sort of happen a lot quicker when there's fish in the tank or snails. Actually, yeah, I think that would be the one to start pushing next. Would it be the snail cycle? Where you start up a new tank with some plants in it, and you just chuck a couple of nerite snails in there. A couple of nerite snails and an algae wafer every day, and you'll soon have a fully functioning cycle. It's cycled with 3 guppies in it. So yeah, adding fish slowly. If you're going to add anything cyclidy and territorial, add them last. Because otherwise they just decide it's their territory and then anything new that comes in there gets attacked. Whereas if you add them to somewhere and everything else is already there, then they tend to be fairly chill about it. We've all seen the ones where someone's had a tank for quite a while and it's got usually something like an angelfish. We just use it as an example. And the angelfish gets on perfectly well with everything else in the tank. And then they add a bunch of tetras or something, and the angelfish eats them all. And they can't understand why. Well, because it's the angelfish's territory. He's introduced something new into its territory. What we should have done, take the angelfish out for a few days, let the new fish find their feet or find their fins, and then pop the angelfish back, in which case it won't be the angelfish's territory anymore. Just move a couple of bits about and job done. No, just basically like they say to do with the African cichlid tanks. If the aggression levels start getting too high, take all the fish out, move stuff around, and then put the fish back in again. And they all have to refigure out where their territory is. It calms them down for a bit. Although I think probably the better solution would not be to massively overstock with all the different flavors. Go with one flavor, have like a couple of males and the rest females. Probably not going to get half the aggression. Or maybe one male and a bunch of females. And yes, you'll end up with, like Jeff found, you'll end up with thousands of cichlids, but you won't have the aggression issues. And it's the same with betta in shrimp. I'm sure if you have a shrimp tank and you pop a betta in it, that betta will then be friendlier with the shrimp than if you have a betta tank and you add shrimp to it. Because then to the betta you're adding food. Because I think that might be what happened with my two, because there were already shrimp in the tank before I put Norman in there. And Norman was great with the shrimp, he didn't bother him at all. And then when Norman passed, and I found Engelbert, and popped Engelbert into that same tank, he then went after the shrimp straight away. Yeah, that was the same. I know. Because when Norman died, I emptied the tank, restarted it, put Engelbert in, and then I added the shrimp. And he went after the shrimp. Yeah, guppy mosh pit is always an idea. You could go with guppies and maybe some platties or something else. Another flavour of live bearer, a good-eared. Preferably not a Basiliad, so they don't crossbreed. Is it Basiliad or Poeciliad? Can't remember. It's something not related to guppies anyway. Because otherwise, we all know how rapey male guppies are. If there's something with the hole that works, they'll bill it. Yeah, killifish. They would also help keep the numbers of baby guppies under control. Yes, and it doesn't even have to be a posh version. Some like Golden Wonder Panjaks or yeah, all the ones I had. The Australis, Aphiosemion Australis. They were very pretty. Just make sure they can't get into the filter. Tetras like black skirts. I like a black skirt too. Just something about a lady in a black skirt. Poeciliad. There we go. I knew it was either Pert or Poes, one or the other. I just didn't want to risk running into a Welsh accent. Because Poes is a very Welsh sounding thing. And the various parts of my accent, the Welsh is the one I would quite like to keep out of it. The bluefins. So I love the Aphiosemions. What gorgeous, awesome fish. And then I think they decided to breed, but they wanted to breed inside the filter, and they minced they both minced themselves. I wondered where they'd gone, and I can't find them in the tank anyway. And then I lifted the top of the filter, and yeah, there's bits of fish floating about inside the filter. Black skirts, Danios, bristlenoses, one more, I reckon. I'll say yeah, a pair of pistos or something like that. Just something with that bit bigger and that bit more show. Is Mr. Pisto showing up anywhere? Yeah. Because I don't think you can go wrong with someone like Mr. Pisto. Or a pair of pistos. Not to be confused with a pair of piss heads. That's a completely different thing. Can we get the camera to close enough to see Mr. Pisto? There he is. Come on, turn around, gorgeous boy, and show us your finnies. No, that's definitely not a Welsh accent. And I'm not doing a Welsh accent. We like a Barlawa. That's actually closer to a Norfolk accent. I mean, that would be. Would you like a bottle of? Would you like a It'll be, would you like a bottle of whatever? Would you like a bottle of whatever? And you go, what? Oh, no thanks. Oh yeah, consonants are just there to make things spell properly. We don't pronounce the damn things. Let's say you can go 20 miles and get a completely different accent. Um, the Suffolk accent is noticeably different to the Norfolk accent. That'd be 20 miles that way. 20 miles that way, you get the Cambridgeshire accent, which is noticeably different again. 20 miles that way, you get the Norfolk accent, which is real broad. Um, yeah, I don't do Manc. Don't do Mancunian. Closest I ever get to a Mancunian accent is when I'm singing along to Smith's song on the radio. What was it I was singing the other day? They had Sheila Take a Bow came on the radio the other day, singing along to that at work. Boot the grime of this world in the crotch, dear, and don't go home tonight. Come out and find the one that you love and who loves you. Yeah, F the consonants. Exactly. Well, it's the same with any language, really. Got taught French at school, and it's the same as someone from a country that doesn't speak English as a first language. They learn English, but they learn it correctly with all the received pronunciation. And like BBC English. There's no one in England outside of a couple of counties that actually speaks like that. Uh, so if you hear Downton Abbey, the majority of the people speak like the servants, not the Abbey, the posh people. Yeah, so if I could remember enough to speak to a Frenchman in French, they would laugh because I would be speaking it correctly according to dictionary and rules and all that stuff. And it sounds completely wrong to them. Because again, they'll drop letters and words and stuff like that. But, I wonder how the multiple gender thing is going down in France. I mean, the French language, everything has a gender. A tail, no, le chat, so a cat is female. It's la, so the chair is male. Singe, so a monkey is male. And a table is female. Bun bun, hello, my dearie. Bunny. We were talking about bunnies earlier, actually. Yes. We were talking about Flemish giants. Awesome rabbits. They're to rabbits what Maine Coons are to cats. Just epic. Although I didn't really find any videos of them doing binkies or zoomies because that would be hilarious to watch. Oh. Are you getting horny again, Spotty? Are you chasing Bertie around? Yeah, I saw that in the camera. I saw that in the reflection. Well, Spanish is getting into a lot of trouble because of how they pronounce the word black in Spain. Well, how they spell it anyway. Yeah, a lot of the European languages are like that. Can you imagine the snuggles from a Flemish giant bun? Gender neutral language used just indicates they're talking to everybody, not just a singular gender. Yeah, I just find it weird that a table can have a gender. Or a can. Oh, and now I can't remember what the French for fart is. That's something you'd think would have to be masculine. It's probably feminine. Welcome back, Ricky. Gliders all fed. Yeah, so lots of languages do. It kind of feels weird when your native language doesn't, and then yeah, well, German and Spanish is the same with black. And like Crayola have been getting into trouble lately because apparently people that eat crayons can't understand that different countries have different languages that are spelt differently, and some words might be slightly offensive in another country. Run out of baby food, just ordered it. Come in 5 minutes. Dang. Well, next door or something? Yeah. It's not racist. And if there is a country on the planet that has got less racism and bigotry in it than anywhere else, it's Germany. Purely because they had the worst kind of it in the 1930s and 40s. And they just want to, the majority of Germans want to stay well away from that. Pretty much any German I've ever encountered has been an absolutely awesome person. But for some reason, people still think Germans are Nazis. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Dumb, must be. That's the only way you can see it. Got to be a IQ lower than shoe size or waist measurement. Yeah, something like that. Either that or they're in meal team 6. Gravy seals. Um, that kind of thing. I mean, every country has its underbelly of nastiness. We've got it in the UK, you've got it in the States, got it everywhere, but you go with the majority of people aren't. So don't worry about correctly correct in real life. Online, yes. In real life, I'm racist, homophobic, and all the other things. Yeah, I mean, I'll say all sorts of stuff. I'll tell all the really bad jokes. Or if I don't say the joke, I will make it obvious that that joke came across my mind. And then other people laugh. It's not necessarily being racist, you're just making the joke. It doesn't mean you agree with it. Yeah, skin is just a suit our spirit wears while we're alive. I did wonder, skiing? Like, what? This is going really deep? Yeah, I don't care. As long as you're not French, you can buy me. And that is just a standing joke in the UK about the French. There's pretty much any other country that thinks they've been at war with someone for a long time. You ain't got nothing on the English and the French. And then we end up being very close allies, the two biggest conflicts on the planet. But it's kind of weird, is because like, England to Germany is the big rivalry. But Germans, their big rivalry is with the Dutch. So I don't see why we get so uptight about England-Germany football matches. They don't really care. Someone tells me I'm racist, it's like I'm brown, I'm allowed. Exactly. Yeah, it'd be like me telling, you know, white jokes. Yeah, obviously I'm not allowed to tell black jokes. If I was to tell jokes about how bad white English people's teeth are, or how small white people's penises are, it's allowed because it's not racist because I'm of that race. Yeah, again, we're back to that, and it's it's all down to context. Do you mean harm by what you're saying? Anything can be taken out of context. Israel's been at war quite a long time, but still got a while to go to catch up with us and the French. Israel's back at war again now, isn't it? So they're trying, bless them. It's like we had one war with the French that went on for over a century. So I wouldn't be surprised if over history England's been at war with France for longer than America's been a country. you know. But I'm not going to get into my views on Israel, Palestine, and all that stuff because I know there's no Israelis or Palestinians here, but well, I don't think there are anyway. Yeah, I mean, I find them funny, Tommy, and with people I know I'm only joking, it's not a problem. I'll tell the joke. But if there's anyone around who I think might take it the wrong way or use it as ammunition against me, that joke isn't getting told. I mean, I grew up in the 80s at school where we were telling all the really bad Ethiopian and Pakistani jokes. We didn't realize there was anything wrong about it. We were just telling jokes and laughing. Yeah, there's context and it's purely to make people laugh. It's not being nasty, but a lot of people these days can't tell the difference between someone just being nasty and, as we would say, taking the piss. So, I mean, let's be honest, there's no black man that's ever complained about a joke about black men having large penises. Right? I mean, that kind of stereotype you don't complain about. Like English people, we tend not to complain about the jokes about bad teeth because, yeah, mine are pretty manky. Yeah, England has been at war longer than America's been a country. Yeah, quite a lot of that was at war with America as well. Um, yeah, I mean, so we on and off been at war for 2,000 years basically. So we were having wars before the Bible was a thing. We're good at it. Not so much anymore, but we don't need the world's largest navy anymore because we don't control like a quarter of the planet. I mean, even during the Napoleonic Wars, there was the West Africa Squadron, which is a squadron of the English Navy back then, or the Royal Navy, I can't remember. Um, there was a squadron of the Navy that was stationed off the West African coast to stop the slave ships. And we had a big enough Navy at the time that we could still fight France and Spain and have a squadron over there as well. And a squadron down in Australia and India and all the other places. So everyone, the internet can suck it. Yes. And you won't get banned or in trouble for saying it in my stream. If you say it in your own stream, you might. Because you're putting it in chat. Brother company is in government surveillance and exporting arms and ammunition. The director in that as well as more. Oh, yeah. I'll say, as long as you're not selling cookery knives to the Gurkhas. Oh, and if by any chance you don't know about the Gurkhas, watch a video. Those guys are scary. You do not annoy a Gurkha. Got some for yourself. Sweet. Driver's a Gurkha. Oh dear. Yeah, don't upset your driver, Ricky. But yeah, at least you're safe. Someone tries to carjack you, they're in trouble. Yeah, why the United States created its navy? I'm not familiar. Would that be? I'm either guessing it was to fight against us, or to try and stop us from stopping the slave ships. I think you've still got one of the frigates from way back, haven't you? Is it USS Constitution is still about? One of them? Which we still got Mary Rose and whatever the other one is. Cutty Sark. Back in the days when navies ruled the world. He who controls the seas controls the planet. And it wasn't until partway through World War II that, well, a good chunk of the way through World War II, that the US Navy got bigger than the Royal Navy. Which, when you look at the size of the two countries, that's scary. The fact that it took like halfway through was it 1942 or something like that, that the US Navy actually got bigger than the Royal Navy. I know we technically had several navies were the Royal Navy, so RNAS, RNZS, Canadians as well. Stop the embargo, tax embargoes in Islamic territories. Sealed in the sea in any Islamic country, they could take your stuff or kill you unless you paid them. We got tired of paying them, so we created a navy to fight back. And the thing used to get on the dark web was created by the. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. There's the US Navy or US military creating its own web, and then it gets out, and anyone can use it. Yay! But yeah, it's from probably, I don't know, a long part of history. You know, navies have controlled everything. Because if you want to get places, you generally have to cross water to get there. And if you can stop people crossing the water and take their stuff, yeah, so Google tends to give you the most popular answer. So the one that most people click on is usually the one that's got the information they want to hear, not necessarily the correct information, which is why I always say to check several sources, because you can soon find out that certain sources were wrong. And history is, again, is one of those sciences. Is history a science? Not entirely sure, but again, it changes and changes all the time as new evidence and new documents and things come to light. And the Navy's like having a big pirate fleet, pretty much. Yeah, large parts of the English Navy at the time were privateers, which is basically state-sponsored pirates. Here you go. Right, have this ship, bugger off over at the Caribbean and nick a bunch of Spanish gold, will you? Righto. Well, it is quite amusing when you see the Somali pirates going up against the warships that are sort of patrolling the area. This is one of, I think it's the French flagship. It's actually a supply ship. It's not a battleship or a cruiser or anything or an aircraft carrier. More of a supply ship at headquarters. Looks a bit like a cargo ship, so fairly regularly Somali pirates try to attack it. Although it's not only is it heavily armed, it also has a contingent of French Marines on board. Yeah, no, probably best not to. Leave that one alone. Well, we just came there for the tea. I joke about that. I'm staying well away from the English, Indian, British history because that gets very murky very fast, and we're not proud of it. But anyway, my time is up. I need to go take some more tablets and rub some more ibuprofen gel on and stuffs. So, thank you very much for being with me. Normal service should be resumed now I'm over the Manflu and death. So, have a good week. Stay safe. Learn some history. It's fun. Have fun. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Monday suck do 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 do. Oh, why have you done that now, you silly machine? I want to get rid of it. Yes. Woohoo!